Okay, buddy. Jeff Allen here, and this is actually a spin-off because I was starting to talk in another video, my these series of different replies on LinkedIn and stuff, and I said I gotta deal with this other topic as well. So with this one, I've only mentioned it, but I actually never dealt with it in detail, and I think it's really important to talk about the types of like atypical machine translation, very unusual, atypical machine translation situations in which I've been able to create some really highly productive and highly efficient implementations in a really short period of time. In situations where we think, hey, we'd never use MT for this. We'd never use MT for it. And I remember at a dinner table, I think it was one of the CLAW conferences, Control Language Applications Workshop conferences, and it's probably in the year 2000. My guess is there it was 2000-ish, or maybe maybe it's at 1999. I was at the 1999 SAE, Society for Automotive Engineering, Top Tech in Amsterdam. Pretty sure it was there because I remember that Kurt Godden was there and Rick Woyd were there. So remember two people so that had to be Amsterdam because we were both there. We were all there at that same conference. I'm sure it was there. And I mentioned one of these examples, okay? And then the second example I actually mentioned in a response to a question at the CLAW and EAMT, European Association for MT, 2003 in Dublin. And I remember it coming from Eric Nyberg asking me a question about one of these other ones, and I answered when I did. And he said, yeah, that's kind of interesting. So the two of these come from those two conferences. There might be some... No, because one was the dinner table, so that wasn't recorded or anything. There was no PowerPoint for that. And the other one was actually kind of a question, so it wasn't in part of my presentation. I kind of dealt with it. I mentioned it, but then you got to go read the article too. But it didn't cover the whole thing. So these are the at least two or three questions I'm going to deal with here. And I mentioned one of these other. Actually, there's another answer in that one. And they said, "Oh, you did that too." So okay, so we're going to deal with it. So I get two or three. So in one situation, I'll mention the one of using. We use the Bible in the Carnegie Mellon project. And then what I did is and that was 1997, 1998. And we did some cleanups too, and we used a certain version of the Bible, and then we had to use the only existing version of the Haitian Creole Bible, because there was actually another one for the St. Lucian Creole kind of happening at the same time. But I mentioned an article I wrote in 2002 in the Multilingual Computing Magazine, which actually came out in the localization reader in 2003, the next year. So it actually got published twice. And it was about how to use machine translation, how to use the Bible as an untapped resource for machine translation system training. And you got to read that article because I show the different types of translations, different purposes of translations, and different levels of investment in translations, and reasons why you got retranslations or not. You want to read the whole article, and I talked about the different types of really heavy investment translation, which is way beyond anything we're doing in any questions about this whole Bible translation is like way more heavy investment than any translation company do, or else they'd just fold under. Okay, but read that article, because it's worth the worth 4 pages. And if you can't find it, come get I got a copy for it. Okay. Actually, I put it up in the Academia, I think, EDU as well. So there's a copy of it up there. But I think Multilingual is trying to put up a page of all my articles that I've ever done it with them and have a special page. But we still got to get that page available. I think like 15 publications I've done with them, made for them. But that article. Then what happened was I mentioned at the conference in CLAW and EMT in Dublin in 2003, the question of another project that I did, kind of doing some, I mentioned, because I got 2 projects here I want to mention that I did this on. So the one was about, there was an opportunity to go do a 1-day pro bono thing, okay, 1-day pro bono, at a nonprofit association, okay, where a friend was working, wanted to help them out, okay, wanted to help them out. I took a day off work and just went and did it. Wanted something fun to do. Okay, just fun to do. Hey, I like doing these cool things. I'm into this, fine. And it was for a mission organization, a Christian mission organization. Okay, and hey, I did biblical Bible text analysis in college. Hey, yeah, it's fine. Just another type of text. And so I came in thinking, okay, and I talked with Yves Champollion at WordFast the evening before, or that morning, or actually during the morning when I got there. And I thought, hey, I'm just getting the license from me, free one, just get the licenses free, WordFast at the time, 2003 is all before still the classical version before all this, all this XML stuff. And I said, I just want a license because I had heard that there had been 4 years of content that had been translated. And the cool thing about this thing, this is the challenge, and this is what is really interesting. There are prayer letters, okay? What's a prayer letter? A prayer letter it's this 28 to 31, because there's 28 to 31 days in a month, of prayer requests, a one-liner, okay? Per month to have this, this association sending out to all their members of, wherever the countries are and stuff, to pray about different things, okay? Topics. But the really cool, interesting thing about this is you can't imagine all the different ways you can say to pray about stuff, okay? And I'm going to say, you don't use the word pray. Lift up. And lift up to God, lift up to, and we're going to, raise our prayer. I mean, there are all these different ways to say pray, okay? It was really cool because it's all semantically different ways. And actually syntactically different, semantically different expressions to say the same concept without saying pray, which is kind of boring to people. So it's marketing content. These are marketing content, okay? Right? What do we always say in these MT conferences? Never use MT for marketing. I did it. So when I tell people, they say, you can't have done it. They said, you haven't tried it. That's the issue. I have. So I have done this on marketing content several times, okay? So this is the first one. I got 2 others I got to market. One is other marketing content too. I don't want to forget these because I haven't got the list. I haven't written it down. So did it for that project. But I found out that one of the 2 problems I had was that the TMs, the translation member, which is basically just bilingual text, okay, in Word documents, was supposed to be bilingual 4 years back. What I found out is there were a bunch of texts that had not been finished. So the bunch of these Word documents that were half translated. So you still had English text. It was usually what happens is they took the English text, made a copy of the English source, and then they put it, and then they gave a French name, and then there's how a lot of translators work, and you keep the English, and then you keep the English, and you delete the English as you're going in, and as you're going to French, line by line, right? Okay, I said no tool here, and just kind of just doing this. So that's how people have done this for decades, hey, probably for 1,000 years, hey, with manuscript stuff. Okay, so I found out that I discovered when doing, hey, we get some problems here because I'm throwing these things in there. I got French where I get English where I'm supposed to have only the target language French. This isn't going to work. And I didn't want to spend my time doing the cleanup, okay? Because I only have 1 day to do this thing, okay? Which is 1 day free, just free, free. So I said, okay, toss it up. Translation memo work because I'm going to have to do more, identify and clean up and throw out and figure it out. So I said, okay, now we're going to use my own copy of my Reverso version 5 or version 4, probably the time. So I kind of gave them my free license, okay? Because I had done all these software reviews. I had free licenses of everything because I got free license for doing the reviews. So I kind of gave my license for a while, okay? So I transferred my license over to them. But what I did was I set it up so that I built dictionaries to handle all those different expressions that were different about the same concept. And so what was interesting is But the challenge this wasn't to do, okay, we got to be, this is not translation normalization, okay, because usually when we talk about normalization is you try to take a different bunch of expressions or things in the source language, then you that's the recognition part, identification, recognition. Same thing happens in speech recognition too, and it's the exact same thing. You can recognize different voices and then you do it, but you always have one voice that talks out. Okay, in general. Okay, there are different ways to do with the synthesis too, and have different voices and stuff like that. But let's just say you always wanted the same voice. Okay, it's for simplify it. Okay, so all these, it needs to identify all the different accents and stuff and get into one, and it needs to speak in one voice. Okay, same thing in the translation engines. You want to be able to recognize all these different forms and stuff in one language. And then when you get to the translation, and it's all harmonized and standardized into the target language, right? Well, you couldn't do it this way because this is marketing information. It's got to sound marketing in its target language too. You can't make it sound like it's saying pray every single sentence because it didn't say it in all the sentences in the source language. So it's got to sound cool too. So I used one of the features. It's called alternative translations in the reversal system, which is actually the ProMT. So up to ProMT, up to version 5, with that translation alternative feature was in reversal and ProMT. Starting from version 6, it was only offered in the ProMT. I'm not going to go through those details. You can see all my software reviews, and you can see the difference and stuff and all that. And I actually had a view about the difference between the two different systems too, and all that. I got a special review about that. Go to my list of publications, ask for it, and it's all there. All the links to all the articles. Okay. So my challenge was to make it many to many. Okay, N to N. It wasn't one to one. It wasn't N to one or many to one, or it wasn't. It was many to many, N to N. This is the challenge, and this is the fun part. So I use that feature to actually make multiple choice segments or expressions in the translation version of French, so that every time that the translator who actually wrote the text at the beginning too, so was able to use each expression when the translator kept it, that they could go through, and when they want translate, they could choose the translation that they wanted among the several alternatives. And so they can actually sound different also in the translation thing without just clicking, click, choose. That really worked really well. Okay. And that allowed to be able to do what we always say you can't do is you can't have, use MT for marketing materials. Not true. Okay. Another example where I did the exact same thing in two other contexts, and I can say it now. It's been long enough. Okay. So actually for all the marketing brochure and for the user manual of the Reverso version 4 Macintosh version that came out in 2000, and I just gotten a job there, so I just came in as director of projects, and one of my I was supposed to do a couple projects, kind of get going, I got to get into the software and stuff, get to know it. Some of the things I was working on were MT dictionaries and stuff for automotive IT and all that. Another thing was doing the translation of the Mac manual that had been written in French, and I had to put it in English. So, and I think that's the way we did it. I think we had written English, French and we went to English. Or I can't remember, I did the English or French. I can't remember. I have to think about it. So, but it's the Mac version, where there hardly actually was an existing one for the PC. Okay, so, and to do the marketing materials and the user manual. Okay, and it's Mac. So, so it just needs some adaptation stuff. So I used the reversal tool to actually do this, the reverse translation, so to actually do the marketing materials and the user manual of that software at the company. So it's just ice creaming, okay, same kind of thing. Eat your dog food, okay. Drink your own champagne, eat your own dog food, same kind of thing, okay. There's these are expressions I use. Did that there, did it. We published it, okay. Same thing happened actually at Sistran. This is even a funnier story. Okay, I'm telling a story here. Okay, because I'm not trying to do a pitch here. Okay, I'm trying to tell a story because this is where things are real. You can feel it's really coming through, and you can feel the emotion stuff of actually how it happened. So version 6 came out at Sistran. Okay, and I was a director of Europe, EMEA. Director of EMEA, actually, for all the technical accounts and customer support and training, okay, professional services for Sistran. 2006 when the version 6 came out. So we got to make a marketing brochure, okay? And the marketing information is going on on all the DVD covers, because DVDs, okay? So you get the boxes, basically, well, not the covers, just the boxes that the DVD goes into, or the CD goes into. Nice, cool looking package box, which is all marketing stuff, And we had that, plus we had the website material. So we need to take it, and we took that, and that was written in French. Okay, it was written in French. And my goal is to do it in English. And we had a couple other colleagues do it into German and Spanish and all that kind of stuff. Now, the challenge was to do it fast, right? So there are people that were doing French to English for that, we're not talking about massive amounts of content. We're talking, I don't remember the number of words, but it's marketing content, just the announcing version 6, all the features, basic stuff, and then the box. Hey, you can't put too many words in the box or people are not going to read it. This is like, hey, breakfast cereal boxes, you got to have a few words, not too much. Okay, if you start putting entire paragraphs of prose on it, they won't read the box, and then the people won't buy the cereal next time around. So same kind of thing in the marketing boxes. Hey, it's got to be short stuff. So we started doing the translation. And you know what? My translation was just like flew through. Guess why? How was it doing it? You know what? The VP and the president said, "You're not using machine translation, are you?" I said, "Of course I am. I'm using the machine translation because that's what I do." And they said, "You can't do this." No, you got to do a human translation. I do the human translation. I'm too posting. I told them, and I use the competitor's product because it's better. Okay. So, and I had done all the software reviews of these products before I came there. So that's how I got hired on, because I did all these software product reviews. So it's like, hey, I'm faster with a competitor's product. Okay. Now, the fun thing about that, and I'm just it's okay. It doesn't matter what tool you use. If you get the thing done, you get it out. Okay. But the fun thing was measuring the amount of cost to do each of these things. Okay. My translation, going through and doing it in record time, cost like 1/3 internal cost per cent translation. If we want to go in the percent kind of cost per word. Okay, if we want to do that kind of price per word kind of stuff, compared to the other ones that were doing manual translation, it was like 3 or 4 times more. 4 times more if I remember. Okay. I can't remember if it ended up being like 12 cents per word versus 44. I just, for German, okay, for English to French to English to French English French to German, like the cost ratio is just like exponential. It's like 3 or 4 times, okay. And I was doing with MT and post editing, and you know what? It worked. We published it. Great. Hey, that was for marketing materials. Again, another example doing marketing materials. That's 3 sets of marketing materials. 2 of them are release materials of different versions of MT products and the user manual, and the other one was a prayerless content stuff. Okay, this kind of stuff I go to a conference and talk about, and it's like all my colleagues at dinner tables. You didn't do this. No. Hey, I changed and came to another wall here. It's a little bit better here. Just to finish, I forgot another example to mention that I did machine translation on marketing information. Another one, and this was published in a. I had been criticized several times in some conference talks, and I think it was actually in AMTA 2004. My talk there about the telecom content, and then it was probably maybe I was in Localization World as well, maybe 2004 in Germany, and I was talking about customer support documentation stuff, and then there were a couple of situations where people in the conference challenged my productivity. All these MT post editing that I had been doing, because I was writing a lot of articles in papers and conference papers at that point in time about productivity of machine translation post editing. And I was given these results that were just people didn't believe it. They just said, it can't be true. You can't come up with 3 times the speed of what anyone else is. Yeah, 3 times the speed of what actually human translator does. It's not possible. I said, no, because you haven't done it before. Um, but So what I did was, about my problem I had, I always ran into when people are challenging, and they said, well, you're not showing us your content, the content. And I said, well, I can't, because this is confidential information. This is no customer content. I can't give it away. We all sign in, this is all we all say. We can't use MT for doing stuff because it's confidential and NDAs and stuff. So I can't I can't show the content because I work for the company and we're doing it for our customers. So I can't do it. So I finally just decided to make a deal with, to use already published content. Was published by Multilingual Magazine. It was called Multilingual Technology and Computing back then. It was called Multilingual Magazine today. They have press releases that are published weekly, and this has gone back 25 years at least. But this was 20 years ago. So they had. So what I did is I just kind of downloaded all the press releases that I needed. I think I had to kind of subsection it off, and I actually wrote an article about this. So there's a paper on translatorscafe.com. It was written in 2005 or 6 in June, off the top of my head. It's in my list of publications. It's about MT dictionary building. I think it was 2005. And because what I did was the funny. Okay, and this is always funny. I'm coming to that keep reminding me of what I did. All these things. So I have Pro MT dictionary certification. Okay, this is usually a 5-day course. Okay, a full 5-day course, because I actually have between a 3 and 5-day course. It costs a bit of money to have that kind of personal. You actually go there and you have to do this thing. Pre-COVID, obviously. And I know someone actually did it, and I dissented. I recommend you do it. And he did it, and he says, this is great training. Okay, so what I did was, because I had already worked with Reverso version 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 6B beta or 6B and 7 beta. Okay, so all those versions. Okay, because I'd worked at Reverso, and then I had actually done a number of software reviews of both the prompt-based Reverso and the prompt OMT by itself, version 6 on, and I'd written a lot of software reviews in magazines about these, so about the specific features and all this. So I knew these versions by heart, literally by heart. So and so I went to ProMT. What I did is I took all these press releases and did a project based on press releases. And you got to go read the article in the translatorscafe.com. So I think it's number 59 or something. You just look it up. It's up in my publications. You can find it in my LinkedIn website, or LinkedIn profile. You can find it in my list of publications. Just ask my list of publications. I'll give it to you, and then you can you'll find it pretty easily. It's dictionary building, MT dictionary building. I did not do post editing on this one. I only did MT dictionary building, but in the end, what I did is I actually provided the source content and the raw MT and the post MT, but I used just word, tracking modifications to show the differences. So it's all there. You can see everything. You can see exactly how I did it. You can't see how I coded it, but you can see the results of it. You can see how much the dictionaries helped improve the quality. That's all measurable. And you could see, and what I just said, I was able to optimize the number of entries I made in the dictionary. So I didn't make a lot of entries. I made 1/3 less entries that I'd normally have to. And the number of the entries and the non-translatables and all that kind of stuff, I can't remember the stats off the top of my mind because I don't have them written here, but it's all written in the article. And there was a subset, so I was using a subset of the full set of press releases So I took a certain section of dates, and in press releases, you get, same companies are all being mentioned. They're all over and over again. You're seeing at least them giving press releases every 1, 2, 3 months and stuff. So you're seeing some repetition in there, but not too much, because press releases everybody's kind of doing the press releases, and they're all little blurbs with the title, the date, the context, and who the company is and who the companies are, if there's two or partners, and their location, their address, the contact information. These are press releases, and so, but the cool. So this is marketing content again, and and you could see that what I did is, I think it was like, I did off the top of my head. You have to go double check it. It was like 55,000 words that were the kind of the first full subset that I downloaded to kind of I want to do it. And I took a sample of that, of 8,000-ish words, and I did it on the actual MT dictionary based on the 8,000 words. And I was able to test that. I tested first, and I tested on the 55,000 off the top of my head, to kind of see how it would work, and it just worked. It just worked. It was usable, very usable, and you could see that it just made a lot of great changes. But I had optimized again so that the key thing was the number of entries I did. So what I did was, so I kept track of everything. I kept track of all the versions of the dictionaries I was making. So I was making multiple versions of the dictionary. I think I got up to like 12 different versions, because and because they were all time stamped. What I did is, at the end, I just took a screenshot of my DOS prompt. I just said, did directory listing, bam, see the list of all the file names. They're all versioned, and the time stamps, time date stamps of proof. This is how begin date, end date, versions. This is how long it took, that number of days, elapsed time, obviously. And then what I did is, I sent that. I sent the last. I kind of documented all this into a report, and I sent this to this plus the files, the final file, the final dictionary file. I sent this to ProMT. I said, hey, can we get me some certification on this thing, on your tool, with this report that I've written about what I've done on the press releases and the dictionary file. So what they did was, they analyzed the whole thing, and they wrote back. They wrote back with 7 questions. They had 7 additional questions on top of my report that I'd written. Okay. I can't remember how long the report was. Just maybe 5 to 10 pages. I don't remember how long it was, but some of the 8 to 10 page long thing. And they had seven specific questions for me. And I wrote back and I said, I'm not even opening the software. I'm not even launching the software here. And I said, okay, these are the ones I can do off the top of my head. And I can tell you what version it is, that in what version it was possible to do this, and at what point in time it was not possible because you changed it in some future, a higher version. And I would say, on this question, you could do this in version, you weren't able to do it until version 5 because the previous version didn't have it. Or this one, it was in version 3, 4, 5, but no longer in version 6. And I said at one point, they finally came into the version 7 beta would have had it. I was able to just say exactly. And I said, I haven't even opened the software here. I haven't even looked at it. And I said there were like 1 or 2 questions. I said I got to open the software because I kind of have to take a look at deep in the thing to figure out where specific things is. And I'm not kidding. I received the certificate by mail for the course, like 2 weeks later, a week later in the mail or something, postal mail. I get it. Can I get it? It's mentioned in my LinkedIn profile, but I got it. So I'm fully certified because I wrote a report, built a dictionary and wrote a report about it. And then when I just took the report and then I converted that into an article, which I published in in Translator's Cafe, and then I actually did it. I actually took at Prezi.com, Prezi virtual, the virtual conference of the year, the annual virtual conference, 2012. I think it was 2012. It's 2012 or 2014. It's up on my website. There's a recording. I made a recording of this because I pre-recorded this. It was an hour session, and I went through and explained how to do this. I showed how to do this. I showed how I was actually doing the dictionaries using the examples from that project, and I actually was citing the examples I was going through, just showing the entire thing from that published article. So there's just no bluffing here. And then I said you can actually transfer and do the same thing in other software. It doesn't matter. This is software agnostic. If you got a software that you can actually do this and build dictionaries, and you can do this on projects, you can do this really quickly, and you are able to do it. So yes, it is possible to do marketing content. And here we had several different examples of different marketing content. So this is, the proof is in the pudding, they usually say. So that's just another example. Okay, I'll give you another example, and this will be the last one. This is just kind of stuff where I have done things that people said you can never do. So the other one that I mentioned, those are ones I've mentioned at different, I mentioned some conference and having other conferences. The other place where I mentioned the other one was at that SAE Top Tech meeting at the dinner table with Kurt and with Rick there. And we talked about, there was something about using marketing. You can't use marketing content, or you can't use literature. No, we're talking about literature. Literature's a no-no, okay? Don't use MT for literature, right? And I said, you guys haven't done it. I said, I've done it. And they're saying, no, you haven't done it. I said, yes, I have. They said, what was it? I said, okay, get this, folks. This is even crazier, okay? So I was supposed to do a series of studies on the book of Revelation in the Bible. Revelation, okay? Now this is obscure as you can get, okay? Obscure, hard to do, okay? We're getting this up here. I'm priming the pump here. I'm whetting your appetite for this one. You want to hear this one because this is crazy. So, supposed to give this series of kind of studies on this thing, and this is really fun. I mean, so what I did is I took all the from college. I had all these notes of the courses I took on this topic that were all typed out, okay? And actually, some of the students actually they chopped it up, this whole book, into different sections, and every group of students actually did separate studies and did a little report of 4 pages about that topic for the entire book, okay? So what did I do? And this is in 2000. This is 1999. This is 1999. Okay. This is a long time ago, folks. Okay. You got to think what tools we had back then. Okay. I scanned OCR'd in 1999. Do I need to talk about the quality of the OCR back? Like it was typed. It was really good. The typing was really the paper was actually good. And these are content I had from middle 1980s. So I had this 15 years later. Okay. I scanned all this content through from English into French. I did not build an empty dictionary. Did I buy an empty dictionary? I don't think I built an empty dictionary because I didn't have time to do it. Or a very minimal, but I did more MT, just post-editing, because I was just trying to get the basic stuff. Because I could already speak in French. All I wanted to have is to kind of spit out the content and give me some fast stuff so I could actually make an outline. Because I didn't need to publish anything. I just needed to use it to talk, okay? So, and I was going to present the thing. I just needed some fast stuff that I could slip through or do a minimal dictionary. This is like super minimal. So I scanned all the stuff, cleaned up the minimum stuff to get sure that it was okay, and then sent it through the MT system into French. I can't remember which one I used for that. 1999, boy, I can't remember which one I was using at the time. It doesn't matter. And what I did was, I think it's for 1999. Maybe no, 1 or 2 years later, but it doesn't matter. It was up till 2002, 2003, so it was only 1998, 2002. It wasn't a long spread that could have happened. And I actually gave they gave the series within a couple days. Now, the funny thing about all this, and this is actually the funnier kind of thing, is a man right now that I know that actually went to a funeral with him earlier today. We drove to the funeral together, an old friend of ours. Um, he's about the age of my father, this friend, and he went of all the talks and things I've given on series of studies and stuff. That was the series he always remember of anything I've ever talked about, of the studies I've ever given on those topics. That he always mentions that one of Apocalypse, or Revelations, Apocalypse in French. He remembers that one. And then I say to him, hey, but you know what? The funnier thing about that is I use the machine translation system to do the thing. So this is kind of for me, the thing that I'm laughing about, because I'm using a thing, I did something out of the box that no one else says they can do, and I said they can do it, and then I go to dinner, I go to a conference dinner, and say, hey, I actually did this thing, and they said, no, you didn't. I said, yes, I did, because he's the one talking about this. But he didn't know I use MTL, machine translation, until I tell him I did it. For him, it didn't matter. It was the result was what mattered. But the thing is, I wasn't using it to publish. I was using it to give me base materials to be able to just modify my outline I want to see here, the 10 points I want to see here, these points here. It was actually just a productivity tool to actually save me time. But then I just finish some stuff, boom, done, off we go. I spent less time on that series than I do for most things when I do these kinds of things. So, hey, it happens. So these are a few, again, crazy examples of using MT for literature and using MT for, two types of literature here, and for marketing materials. I mean, so I've talked about the Bible and actually two types of the Bible in different contexts. And they were years apart, and then using one for two examples of content marketing material. The things that are no-nos you'd never do. I did it in different contexts, different companies, different tools. And did it, and in two different directions of the same language pair. Okay, off the top of my head, maybe I've done it for others too, but yeah, that's it can be done. If you say it can't be done, it's because you never tried it. Okay, when you start trying it, you start doing it with. Okay, again, these are professional translations. I don't use the free online stuff. Okay, no free online systems. I use paid license stuff because I get the paid licenses because I do software reviews. I got the paid version. Okay. So I dared to use it. And I actually worked for the companies too. So hey, I had always had a free versions of these things. I don't work for the companies anymore. So, but not for those ones. But I still got the software license because I got free software complimentary license. I'm not working on my Windows 10 version anymore. I got to upgrade my licenses for those things. But hey, it works. Now, if you don't believe it, you haven't done it. If you want to say that it's not true, you haven't done it. And I'm saying I've done it, and I get the proof. Got people who are glad I did the things, and I even published an article about it. Hey, maybe I should publish another article or two and show how I did it. And I don't need to. I got so many articles and stuff I published about how I did it. I don't need to make another article about it. Okay, just go read the other articles and things, or see other videos about how I did it. Just to understand that, hey, this is no bluffing. This just works. You got to learn to master the tool, master the content. Okay, and I actually was, able to master the content and all that too, and deal with the and build your dictionaries. Use a system that lets you build dictionaries. Okay, and that comes to another thing. Don't use systems that allow you to customize it. Don't touch it. Okay, I only use stuff I can customize. If I can't customize it, forget it. Unless I have to use system, I can't customize. And you got to chain me to the wall to do that one. Okay, got to chain me to the table to have to do something that's going to waste me time. Okay, so and I won't touch others. I'll still always use a custom system, or I'll use a different system, which I get a license to actually make it work. Even if it's an older one, I will use an older version if I can customize it. So this is the way it works. Okay, so do it that way, and you will be successful. Successful isn't always about making money. It's about saving money, saving time, allowing me to do other things with my time, because my time is precious to do things. Okay, and so I'm spent 27 minutes of your time, and I'm hoping that this has been a good investment to learn that you can actually do it in different things, and use things that are productive. Thanks. Have a great day.